Hello and welcome everybody to the KIMBALL HOOKER Show. I have a special guest today and I'm just so excited to have her here. I want to get into a little bit. We're going to start from the beginning and we're just going to progress and bring us to current day and how she got started and so forth. But I just want to say hello and how are you doing, Thùy Linh?
Oh, hi Kimball. It's a pleasure to meet you and all our new friends here at the program. I'm great. I've been able to gig again recently, so that's a major blessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially coming out, from COVID and everything as well too.
Exactly.
So take us. I want to take us back to the beginning. Like, what was your interest in music? How did you get started?
Wow. How many days you got?
Right.
So, well, I grew up singing Vietnamese music.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Pop music, of course. The stuff that my parents played at home, right? And the stuff that they taught us in school and various fun programs, right, growing up. I sang and danced, was always drawn to it. But of course, I was never encouraged to pursue it professionally at all. So I think that my love for the song and singing and all of that was really self-cultivated. So, I sang for as long as I can remember and danced, and it wasn't until roughly my 18th year when I was at Berkeley, UC Berkeley,
okay,
for college, that I discovered jazz, and it just drew me in. And the romantic lyrics and all of that in jazz.
Okay.
Because I listened to all the classic voices,
Right.
Billy, Sarah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dating back,
Nat.
okay.
Yeah, Nat King Cole, Louis also.
Right.
So all the love songs, that they sang, and of course the beautiful voices and the freedom that I heard in jazz, improvisation and whatnot,
right,
was just all the ingredients that took to kind of really pull me into jazz, and it was just a natural gravitation.
Right.
So that's how I discovered jazz, and I was just self-taught.
Oh, self-taught. Okay.
Completely self-taught.
So your parents, were they musicians or
No,
family
not at all.
members? Really?
No. Like I said, I grew up just listening to music that my parents played at home.
Okay.
And the community played, all around me. So there's lots of Vietnamese pop and classic stuff that I know. And I can sing a lot of Vietnamese songs, right?
Okay.
But of course, like I said, I didn't grow up with my parents, encouraging me to pursue music, and it was always considered just a pastime,
Can I ask, what did they encourage in terms of like for a career or?
Typical Asian, parents and cultures that, you go to school.
Right.
You get the degrees, under your belt, and become a, productive, contributor to society.
I understand. Okay.
And not as an artist.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely not as an artist.
Not music. Okay.
Right. So yes, and I did that for most of my life.
Okay.
I mean, I have a master's degree.
Right.
People don't believe
Nice.
it. Yeah, I have a master's degree in international relations.
Wow.
I was supposed to go into the foreign service.
Right.
Yeah, but now you see my path. I was meant to go into music.
Right. You have no regrets?
Of course not.
Right.
No.
Okay.
And when I say that, I see my path clearly, and it didn't come to me until my early 40s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, I was in school for my master's, right?
Okay.
And after that, I did all kinds of work, but mostly in nonprofit work in my community, because I was interested in development work in my home country, Vietnam.
Okay.
So I was involved in a lot of nonprofits that promoted that development of my home country.
Nice.
Yeah, so I did a lot of events planning, lots of business, cultural exchanges, all of that. And nothing stuck.
Wow.
Nothing stuck. I mean, I would go in and out of jobs, like changing my clothes every day, because I just got bored, or I just got disillusioned, or whatever.
Right.
And I now looking back, I see that I just felt kind of lost, I thought I meant to do something bigger, but I just don't know what it is.
What connected the dots for you?
Okay, so the long and the short of it is this. I mean, I got married, right? Was home raising kids, but I was still keeping up with my jazz studies, right? Going to jams. I even took lessons with a pianist in San Francisco while I was homebound raising 2 kids. And I had grown to that level where people wanted to pay me to sing, right? And of course, you know, the lifestyle of a musician versus, you know, a mother, a full-time mother and housewife is
totally
completely different. It's night and day,
of course,
right?
Yes.
So, and that conflicted with my marriage, you know, it just didn't flow as well anymore, and my ex didn't believe that it would work anymore, and that caused the rift between us, and it took the separation and the divorce for me to jump into music professionally.
So there was no support? You got no support?
No. When we got together, yes, there was amazing support. I mean, he was drawn, I think a lot of people are drawn to the glamour, right, and the romance.
That happens.
Yes, with an art, right?
Absolutely.
Or with
they
an
get
artist.
caught up into it, and I understand
Yes.
it because it's exciting and it's fun
Very glamorous, right?
from the outside.
Yes, exactly. So of course, you know, he was drawn to me for that. And ironically, at that time, I was nothing in terms of music. I mean, I had a passion,
Right.
an interest that I kept, you know, on my own private time.
Right.
But never during all of those years, during my 42 years of my life, did I think or even consider pursue music professionally.
Professionally.
Yes.
Wow.
So it wasn't until that I, you know, people started to request and wanted to pay me to sing that I thought, hey, maybe there's something to this. I should consider it seriously.
Right.
But it took my divorce when I freed myself from that world, and I had to determine how I was going to make a living after being out of the market, you know, for a good 5 years, right?
Long time.
Yes. And I had to figure out how to make a living.
Right.
So at that time I was starting a jam at Angelica's in Redwood City.
Oh, I know Angelica's.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
nice.
yes.
All right.
And so, yeah, and from that, when that jam ended, I had a number of fans in the community, mostly Vietnamese-Americans,
Okay.
who followed me, who loved me, who supported me, and they would bug me, you know, Thùy Linh, where are you performing? You know, we miss you. We don't have a place to go to anymore weekly, you know? And so then I thought, how am I going to do this?
What years are we talking?
Okay, this was 2012.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a little bit back. Okay.
Yes. So, and then I thought, okay, it's, you know, and at that time I had submitted my request to all the places I knew, all the local joints that were offering jazz, right? But, you know, they didn't know who Thùy Linh was. I was green, you know, a nobody in the music scene. So it was very tough, you know, to go knocking on doors, you know, and people were not as receptive as I had hoped, right? And I got really mad, you know, and I said, how dare them treat me like this, you know?
You have to build your brand.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Takes time.
Exactly, right? But I just thought, well, you know, to hell with this. So then I told my fans, I said, okay, so if I'm going to host an event, do you promise to show up and bring your friends and tip my band so that we can put on a professional show for you?
Right.
If you promise to do all these things, I will gladly manage all the legwork, you know, and bring a show to you.
Nice.
And they said, yes, of course. So that Thanksgiving weekend, there's this couple who is the leader in planting that seed in me. And at that time also, I got wind of a program actually in San Francisco called Jazz in the Neighborhood.
Jazz in the Neighborhood, okay.
Yes,
familiar.
Jazz in the Neighborhood. And its idea is, you know, to bring jazz into the community at like a small, you know, venue, cozy venue. Right. And at the time they had shows at a gallery in North Beach,
okay,
Little Italy in San Francisco, that I attended with some of my mentors who sang there. Kelly Gray, who has since passed, a great vocalist, and Claire D.
Oh.
You know, singer Claire D, yeah. And so I adored those two women. I went and I checked out the show, and then that also gave me some ideas, right? It's like, you build it and people will come.
Right.
So from that Thanksgiving show, it was an amazing success. And that's where I launched my project, which has since became a business for me to make a living in music. And the name we have for it, it's called Jazz Is You.
Jazz Is You.
And the Vietnamese term is Jazz La Em, which is based on a song that a Vietnamese composer who had found me Googling for Vietnamese jazz singers to do his music, to sing, perform his music. Right. So that's how he found me online. And at that time we connected, and he was so excited, you know, to have found me, that Jazz Is You is a term of one of his very first jazz songs that he composed, and he dedicated it to me.
Nice.
And we had used that as the launching, you know, name for a project, and it stuck.
Right. Let me ask you this. So are you a songwriter as well?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. What's the creative process that you go about when you write your music, like the lyrics?
Well, you know, to date, I have done more of the melody than I have the lyrics. For instance, the songs that you see on my CD now, there are a few originals on there.
Which we want to plug this if you want to talk about it.
Yes. This CD was released in 2019, also called the name of my project, Jazz Is You, Jazz La Em. And it celebrates 5 years of my project, bringing jazz into the heart of the community. And again, this is based on the inspiration from Jazz in the Neighborhood that I discovered. And the idea is to produce shows completely free in the community. We collect only donations to cover for our house band. Mm-hmm. And I've traveled this show with the CD. We produce shows here, not only locally in San Jose, South Bay area, but also in Southern California in Orange County, where is the largest Vietnamese community. And then with the CD release in 2019, we debuted in Texas.
Nice.
In both Houston and Dallas.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. So those are those two cities are our two newest markets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, anyways, the originals on here, you see number one is Jazz Is You, which is the song by Nguyen Yu. I translated his lyrics into English, so to be melodically, you know,
I love the body art that you have here.
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
Actually, this is by an artist in San Francisco. Her husband found me because he was a waiter at a French restaurant in the city. And at the time, you see my head is bald, and that's from alopecia, hair loss from just stress from producing my own shows.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I was completely bald, and he saw me and he thought, oh my God, you know, I love that bald on you, and I know my wife would love to just experiment on the bald head because she's a body artist.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he connected us. But, you know, also that took a few years before we actually, you know, got together and did this for CD cover.
So how long did it take for you to produce this CD?
Oh, there were a lot of glitches with the CD. So actually, it took at least 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had recorded it with a number of musicians in Southern California who I had worked with. And then we had a bunch of problems. It turned out to, you know, the piano ended up sounding like out of tune, and the engineer wasn't cooperative, so essentially I had to pretty much redo it, everything.
Right. For people that's listening, California. I have to say this, for people that's watching, that's home, a lot of people don't know what the hard work that musicians and artists put into creating a project.
Yes.
And this is why you support your musician. This is why you support, right?
Thank you, Kimball. Yes.
I have to say it because a lot of people go, oh, it's the music, you know.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of work that they don't understand that goes into it. Just finding the musicians, right? That understand your concept with what you're trying to convey on your record.
Yes.
Right? And then the studio time.
Yes.
so many different things that
there's lots of cost, also that people don't see.
Right.
So it's like when I say support me with a CD, and the people who get it, they're not going to balk at like $20, a CD, and others that don't, they're like, well, I don't have a CD player, and this, that, and the other. Well,
Yeah, and there's different people that appreciate, your work and your time that you put in, and especially when they see you live, then they can really get a stronger appreciation for you because they can really see the full production. Right. Then when you have your CDs, your merch, you're there and people get consumed with you like, wow.
Right.
Like, she's really good. I feel her. It could be a cocktail shop, could be an intimate setting.
Right.
You're dressing the part, your band sounds good, and they really enjoy what you have here. I mean, I haven't heard it yet, but I know just looking at it that the time and the effort that it took to put this together.
Yes.
And I just wanted to just comment on that just before we
Thank you so much. So this took quite some time, more than I had of course liked, but that's the way it goes. You just kind of roll with it. And so when I finished it, I of course was very relieved, very happy, and still releasing it, right?
Now, is this your only CD? Do you have the?
No, I have an older CD as well.
Okay.
My first that I made, but quite quickly when I decided to go pro with music, and that was released in 2012. And but this one, somehow I just feel like it's the real jazz CD because I feel like I've paid my dues. I know my way around in the music world.
You learned yourself more as a musician, as an artist?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you feel you've learned yourself more?
Yeah.
And you've
definitely.
You've come into your own over the time?
Yeah, and also, when I play with really seasoned, a lot of the musicians that I play with are much more seasoned than I.
Right.
And so
but that's how we get better.
Yes, but exactly. But that's why I'm very humbled, because I know that a lot of them are much more well-schooled than I am, right? And they know all the music theory more so than I am. So I have a lot of respect.
Right.
Much more respect for all of those musicians that I play with.
Right.
And also an understanding of where I am in the scheme of things,
right.
You see? And that's what keeps me humbled. Right. And also when people hear and understand how much it takes for me to keep up with all of my productions.
Right.
Okay? And know how much heart and literally sweat and tears that goes into putting up a show for the community,
right?
And how much hair loss I've had to go through,
right?
Then I think I hope that they realize that this is like a life or death thing for me.
Right.
It's not, I'm just jumping into this for fun and then I can get out of it and do whatever else I want whenever. You know what I mean?
The one thing that we have as common is musicians is, we don't do this for anything other than the love. We're really passionate about what we do with music. We don't do this for fame. We don't do this for fortune. Yeah. It has to reside inside of you here, and it comes out. People do respect it when they see the finished package.
Yeah.
The process is a little tedious. Sometimes it's time consuming and it costs a lot of money.
Yes.
But when people see your full production and they get it, they go, oh my gosh, they can't believe that it took all that to get to where you're at.
Yeah.
And then they really appreciate it.
Right. Well, thank you for saying that, Kimball, because I think when I speak and when I share my story to a lot of in the Vietnamese community, many people always ask me, well, why did you give up? Like, your master's degree? You could be like living in a, high and mighty house, drive a beautiful car, have this, that, and the other, but you give it all up for your jazz. There must be something, that has pulled you into this, that has kept you.
Right.
And people always think, gosh, this must be some kind of, alluring magic or, or
a
passion.
A bigger payoff or a bigger reward.
Yeah. But, Kimball, you as a fellow artist, that we don't think like that. For me, at that time with my divorce and everything else, I was just like, my God, how am I going to survive?
Right. It takes a special person.
How am I going to live?
To think you're thinking outside of the box. You're thinking outside of the box. And what's passionate to you, you know what? Nothing else matters at that time.
Exactly. And I think it's a combination of everything. And I said, I had to find a way to make a living.
Right.
And this became, by default, a small business that I had to start. and sustain
Right.
to make a living. And it just so happens that it is based on my very passion.
Right.
And now I can say, after all these years of hard work and continued hard work now, because it hasn't ended, you know,
Right.
that actually the music and the passion that I have been living with is now blossoming. It's coming out.
Right.
You know, and very naturally so.
Right.
And going back to your earlier question about what is my composing process.
Right.
Again, like that song Jackfruit.
Right.
Now, Jackfruit is the title of a 4-line poem by a very renowned, famous Vietnamese poetess of the 18th century.
Wow.
Ho Xuân Hương. Well known. You mention that name to anybody in the community, and they're like, whoa, you know. A feminist in her time, before her time, actually. You know, a 4-line poem, very risque, basically defying, you know, the social norms and mores at the time, you know, between men and women. Well, that song Jackfruit, I shared with one of my very best friend who is a poet. He goes by the name of Ba Shao. And basically between he and I, he fleshed out the lyrics for that, and we both worked together on the English lyrics. And but basically, that song is a flagship. It's a flagship song of one of my series in my original compositions.
Okay.
And it's inspired by survivors of human trafficking.
Oh, wow.
In Vietnam. And at the time when I started my music journey, shortly before that, I was involved with an organization based here actually in Milpitas called Pacific Links, which fights human trafficking in my country. And so that's why that was one community project that inspired one of my musical series.
Right. That's a huge backstory by itself, by the way.
Oh, yes. And I have 3 series. But anyways, that's another side point. So basically, Jackfruit. So I think sharing all these stories with my best friend and all these stories of the survivors, you know, really inspired him to write that poem. And then between the two of us, we crafted it into a song. And then when I sat down with the lyrics after a few days of kind of, I say sleeping with it, you know, the lyrics, I sat down, and on the first take, the melody came out, and that's the song as you hear it right now. First take.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I love hearing the backstory to how music is composed, you know what I mean? Because now you can take me, now when I listen to it, I'm going to have a different appreciation and a different understanding of like how that song was put together, composed, the backstory of it, and honestly, the love that you put into it. Is,
And my friend couldn't believe it. Another song that we did together is Lotus Child, which is the flagship song of about the anti-human trafficking.
Right.
Lotus Child. And again, I mean, after just sleeping with the lyrics, sitting down, somehow the lyrics just kind of fed into the melody, and it came out.
Right.
I don't know from where it came, you know, but when and if you get to hear Lotus Child in the future, you will see that my friend said, my God, how did you know that I had written this song based on the inspiration of Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit? Because it has that dirge in the melody. And I said, it just came. And the funny thing is, a lot of people, when I sing, a lot of people have mentioned to me that they hear Billie in my voice.
Oh.
And ironically, I say, I swear to God, she was like the last person that I studied, you know?
Wow.
And I've never wanted to imitate her. Actually, I've never wanted to imitate anyone. But I'm sure, you know, the influences, I say it's because all of that has seeped into here, and now it's just flowing out.
It's flowing out?
Yeah, it's blossoming, just like, it's just like kindling a seed, it's
right.
like, yeah. So that's my best answer.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, take a look at this CD. We have Thùy Linh here with her CD. I'm Kimball Hooker on the Kimball Hooker Show, and we're going to take a short break. Everyone tune in to kimball.show. You can check out all our links, all our different episodes. We're in season 2 right now. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be right back.
Thank you to the City of Montessorino for their continued support of KCAT Public Media. The City of Montessorino has enabled KCAT to inspire, educate, entertain, and inform our community through the magic of television and digital media for over 38 years. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kimball Hooker here on the Kimball Hooker Show. You guys can log on and check us out at the podcast, kimball.show. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends about us. We're here at KCAT Radio, Los Gatos, Montessorino, and I have my good friend here, Thùy Linh, right? Okay. And so here's what I want to talk about, though. We kind of left off in a situation where you're very passionate about your music. And I understand, as a fellow artist and musician as well. When you sing, tell me a little bit about where does all that come from? All the passion that you have for it, because you sing in different languages, correct?
Yes. That's
amazing to me. I find that very interesting. Do you mind? Can I put you on the spot?
No, of course. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. All right. Well, feel free to sing anything you like. Anything.
Okay. Bésame, bésame mucho. Kiss me, my darling, and say that you'll always be mine. Yêu nhau đi, đời ta có nghĩa chi? Yêu nhau đi, ta lo chi cho đôi mi thêm phai màu. Ta yêu nhau cớ sao anh âu sầu. Phút giây này có bao giờ đến với đời ta hai lần đâu.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That work?
Studio audience is loving that right now. Yes. You know what I love about that so much? You went into this whole little finger snap and you put your life into that. I felt it. I really did.
Really?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
good.
And it's soulful too. It's jazz, but it's very, very soulful. I got chills.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a classic jazz song, right? That's a bolero.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Latin bolero, but it's a very, it's the most recorded song in the world.
But you made it your own.
Yes, and that's always a highly requested song
Right.
with my Vietnamese audience. I mean, they love that song, so that's why I learned it in Vietnamese.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did.
Did you translate it yourself?
No. There's already a set lyrics
Okay.
when I got to it. But that's another project that I'm working on now. Is a bunch of songs I'm translating to give them more of like a literal translation.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a song in my repertoire right now that I do. That song, "It's Now or Never."
Okay.
That
right.
Elvis Presley remade.
Right.
That song is actually an Italian, opera song. It's called "O Solo Mio."
Okay.
And "O Solo Mio" means, "Oh, my sun." Sunshine, right? So the lyrics of that original song is about, celebrating and enjoying the beautiful sunshine, in nature and all of that.
Right.
But Elvis's take is like, love, right?
Right.
It's now or never. Come hold me tight, kiss me, my darling, be
Right.
mine tonight, So yeah, so I have that song now that I've been playing with at all my gigs where I do a little rubato kind of operatic, style.
I love your vibrato. It's beautiful.
Jazz.
And your undertone is so beautiful. You know what I like about it though? You don't try hard. It's natural. I can tell. that you're using the correct part of your
Yeah, thanks.
diaphragm.
Well, Kimball, it's also because that song, I mean, I've done so many times, that it's kind of sunk in,
Right, it's fluent for you. Right,
Yeah,
I get that. I
yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I say that the multiple languages thing, for me,
What are some of the languages?
it's a business. It's a business, idea as well, because I'm trying to universalize jazz, to pull in more people,
Absolutely.
right? So I've got to be inclusive. So I do Spanish,
Okay.
right? Vietnamese, Spanish, a Portuguese for the bossas,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Anything else? Well, that seems enough for now, I suppose.
But that is worldwide right there. I mean, what audience can't you touch when you're singing that many different languages, right? You're
yeah.
always going to touch somebody's eyes. And the thing is, even people that don't understand, it's the feeling. You're
Yes.
still sending them emotion
Exactly.
through your voice.
Yeah, well, you know how it is when we sing a song, and when I teach my students, I say, you're delivering a story,
Yes.
right, in the song. So you have to make it believable.
Right.
So when
You
I
sell
tell
it.
my students to sing to me, to sell me that story.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm just going to send you home.
I like that, right? That's what the audience is going to do, right? That's
Right,
funny.
exactly.
Where do you have a website? Where-
Yes, right now I just have the SoundCloud.
Okay.
Yeah, and
How can they find you? If anybody says watching right now, you have fans, right?
Yes.
Where can they go?
well, I'm on
to find you?
Facebook.
Okay.
You can look up Thùy Linh here, TL, and then you get this whole long, postfix of composer, was it composer, vocalist, and
Right.
producer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm on Instagram.
Instagram, okay.
It's Jazz is You, TL, okay? All one word.
That's our IG.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And same
Facebook.
on Twitter.
Okay.
And Facebook is this name.
Okay.
Yeah. And SoundCloud, you can also find me.
And SoundCloud as well. And you have your CD on there? You have music on there?
Yes, I have clips from the CD there.
Okay.
That you can listen to.
And YouTube?
YouTube, yes.
Okay. So they just...
You can just Google my name on YouTube and you get a number of things, like shows that I've done live in
Right.
Southern California mostly.
I want to say thank you for coming on the Kimball Hooker Show. You've been one of my best guests, honestly. I mean, I
Thank
love
you,
your
Kimball.
passion, your drive, your smile,
you.
you know what I mean? And I just love your enthusiasm, and your story is amazing. I
Thank
love the
you.
fact that you've taken the time out to be a professional and take care of your band, and give your best at everything you do. Thùy Linh, everybody.
Thank you
Welcome
so
to
much.
the Kimball Hooker Show. Tune in at kimball.show. Check us out. Like, share, comment, and just tell all your friends about us. And
Come out and support
come
us,
out and
please.
support Thùy Linh. Come out and support Thùy Linh.
No, I say us musicians.
Right? Come
Yes.
out. Also, check out her CD right here.
Yes.
And thank you for coming on again.
Thank you. Hope
KCAT
this-
Radio, and we're out of here.
You just heard the Kimball Hooker Show here on KCAT Radio. Explore all our KCAT original programming at kcat.org/radio.